Okay, so this video is very important because today I've got someone very special who is very experienced in Dubai mortgage industry. I've been receiving so many questions about the mortgage from the first time buyer, from the experienced investors, and from the non-residents as well. So I thought, why not invite someone who knows everything, who's in the market for more than 10 years now?
22 years.
Oh my God, 22 years. So let's welcome Mr. Amit. Thank you, Amit, for coming.
Hi, thank you, Umair. Thank you for having me on board.
I mean, you have been so busy and we have been trying to meet with each other, but finally.
So we are blessed. If we are busy, then we are blessed.
That's really good. So if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So Umair, I've been in UAE for last 22 years.
Okay.
Initially, I was working with the banks for 17 years. So I've worked with Citibank, Standard Chartered, RAC and Mashreq. And then I am part of this company called Lion Mortgage, which is an independent mortgage firm which we've been there for last 13 years. We deal with all the banks. So as a mortgage broker, I manage their sales team.
Perfect. So I mean, because this is a very confusion between the first time buyers and those people who are dealing with you, that why go to a mortgage broker and why not go to the bank directly?
See, a mortgage broker helps them in a way that if there's a client by the name Ali, Ali gets to know with his salary or with his income, which bank can he get the maximum loan amount and which bank can offer him the lowest interest rate.
Okay.
Otherwise, he will 90% go to his bank where his salary is credited. So he doesn't get an option to look at cheaper options or banks where he can get a higher loan amount, a certain project which his bank may not finance. Could it be a leasehold or a different location or a different emirate for that matter? So a mortgage broker does that homework for him of putting it on table by understanding his profile. That's as per your income profile and your background. These are the banks which are top 3 or top 5 which you can select from. So we do a comparison, share him the comparison, show him all the differences.
Okay.
And as per our guidance and his decision, we proceed with the bank.
Okay, so it's advisable to work with the
Mortgage broker. Yeah.
mortgage brokers. So I mean, we'll start from the very basic.
Yeah.
Because let's say if someone is first time buying a property,
Okay.
they do not know. They do not know the process. They do not know what documents do they require. Let's say if someone is a salaried person or someone is has their own businesses.
Okay.
So if you can tell us that first of all, what is the mortgage criteria for a salaried person?
So I'll tell you the paperwork,
Okay.
correct?
Yeah.
So the first document would be his KYC documents, which is his passport, visa and Emirates ID.
Okay.
Second would be a salary certificate from his employer confirming his designation, his date of joining, his fixed salary, his passport details, nationality. Third would be the last 6 months bank statement where the salary which is mentioned in the salary certificate is being credited.
Okay.
Additional, if there is a salary variance, let's say someone gets
Commission.
18,000 every month, sometimes he gets 19 or 17, depending on allowances or commission, then we ask for the 6 months pay slip to understand what is the average and what are the deductions, because at times company may give you an advance and then do a deduction as well.
True.
So then we take the pay slip for 6 months.
Okay, so and then once the documentation is done,
Yeah.
you know that these documents are required.
Correct.
What is the next step? I mean, how much time does it take for a mortgage to start?
No, pre-approval for a salaried client can be done in 2 days.
Okay.
It can be done in 1 week. It depends on the bank. There are few banks which are offering an online pre-approval. So you may apply in the morning, same day evening also you can get the pre-approval, which
So-
are system generated.
Okay, so for the pre-approval, because I've been in the market for last 10 years.
Correct.
So initially when I was new in real estate,
Yeah,
so when someone would call me as a buyer,
yeah,
I would ask, okay, do you have are you looking to buy through cash or mortgage? They will say mortgage.
Correct.
We will not ask about whether you have got a pre-approval or not.
correct.
And then we will gonna show them the property. They will see multiple properties. They
Correct.
would also not know whether they are qualified to buy this property or not.
Correct.
Okay. But now we know we ask so many questions whether you have a pre-approval, how much is the amount, from what bank. Okay.
Correct.
But if you can tell us that first of all, what is a pre-approval and how much time does it take?
So pre-approval is like an email or a letter issued by a bank confirming the client's eligibility.
Okay.
So if someone is earning 20,000 dirham salary, a bank may give him a 1.5 million loan. So he can confirm on a piece of paper that he is eligible for this much amount. that letter or email can be used to negotiate with the seller, because when you go to see a house, your seller needs to understand, are you eligible with a mortgage, or are you a cash buyer?
Yeah, qualified
Because
buyer.
why would he show houses to multiple people, or why would he negotiate of bringing 2 million to 1.9
Yeah.
when he's not sure you're capable of buying? So that pre-approval helps you in negotiating, gets you access to multiple viewings that you can do.
And yes, you also know that you can buy this kind of property.
You know your budget as well,
Yeah.
that I am capable of this. Because the problem which we have seen with many customers, or it's a human nature, that people are not aware that if you buy a house of 2 million, you're salaried, you can get 80% finance for the first property. So that information is not that easily available.
True.
So a broker also explains that to the client, which helps him in understanding that how much is the down payment I need to get for a 2 million house. Like many times you would have seen that you do 5 viewings, and on the 6th viewing the client will say, I don't have down payment money. It's not his mistake. He feels bank is giving loan, maybe bank is giving 90%, maybe bank is giving 100%. So everyone's background is not in finance, so they don't know, which is fine.
No, yeah, that is absolutely correct. So let's say you are saying that, again, we take an example. If
Yeah.
someone is buying a property worth of 2 million dirhams,
Okay.
and is a first time buyer.
Correct.
So the bank is giving 80%.
1.6 million loan.
Okay,
Yeah.
but this is a common mistake, or I would say people are not aware.
Yeah.
They're expecting that, okay, the bank, let's say they're buying property of 2 million,
Yeah.
they have got 400,000,
Correct.
the bank is giving 1.6 million. They are not calculating the additional charges.
Yeah, there is the DLD and the broker.
So if you can tell us in detail,
Yeah.
all the additional charges.
Correct.
Again, I mean, people know about the DLD and the agency
Yeah.
fee, but they do not know the other.
So whenever you take a mortgage, 90% of the banks have a life insurance which is mandatory. So
Okay.
that's also a cost. Some banks charge monthly, some banks charge annually.
Okay.
So life insurance is one. Second is property insurance. That is to cover the property risk. Tomorrow you have floods, rain or earthquake. Third is a processing fees.
Okay.
Okay. These are the 3 costs. Another one which the bank charges is the valuation fee. So these 4 are cost which the bank charges. Valuation and processing are one time. Life and property are annually charged. So he should be knowing that these are fixed costs which keep on coming every year.
So valuation, there is a fixed cost, or it can go up and down?
Every bank, like few banks have 3150 as a valuation
Okay.
cost, few banks have 2625.
And for the processing fee
0.25 to 1% depending on the client profile
of the loan amount,
of the loan amount.
because this is a huge cost as well. People do not
But
calculate.
if you have to see, the bank is also putting in employees to work on your application.
Yeah.
And a client can take a loan in January, see an appreciation in March, and sell the property in April. So the bank feels, where did I end up making money?
Yes.
3 months interest will not excite the bank or doesn't give them that benefit. So a processing fee is taken because they have sales people, credit people, operation people who are delivering a service for him. So that can be assumed as that cost.
Okay. Yeah. And then you have the additional 4% Dubai Land Department charges.
And the 2% which the real estate agent,
Agency
whoever
fee.
is selling the house to the client, charges
plus the
fees.
VAT charges, and then you have the trustee office charges and the admin charges.
So
these
those are still very small.
yeah, those are. And for example,
Yeah.
how much time? I mean, let's say my documents are complete.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm eligible, and I'm buying a property which doesn't have a mortgage.
Yeah.
It's an easy process. I'm taking a mortgage. The property doesn't have a mortgage. So how much time it takes usually?
Sensibly, it should take 1 month.
Okay.
Because at times the buyer may travel, seller may travel, there could be any other party in between which is traveling, the property is rented, tenant may travel,
Yeah.
which is very much obvious in this part of the world. People travel a lot because of their job role. So 1 month for any individual salaried, you can assume is good to complete the transaction. A self-employed, you may feel 45 days to 60 days, because self-employed, the underwriting takes time. The paperwork is much longer, bigger, that's why.
So again, you have mentioned the self-employed.
Yeah.
So what documents do they need?
Okay. So self-employed client, assume the client name is Ali.
Okay.
Ali has a business here for last 5 years. So you will take Ali's passport, visa, Emirates ID.
Okay.
You will take Ali's company ownership document to understand his profit share. You will take the company bank statement for 6 months. You will take his personal bank statement for 6 months. You will take few sample invoices to understand physical businesses happening, what are his clientele or what are his suppliers. You will take his utility bill of the office, a tenancy contract. If his business is on a very large scale where he is making audit report, then he'll provide you audit report.
Okay.
if his business is not that on a large scale, let's say it's a 5 million turnover, he doesn't spend money with an auditor, that's also fine. He may file corporate tax, but maybe he's not doing the right audit which is required to give to a bank. He may just do an internal P&L balance sheet for him to know that in this year how much money did I make for myself.
Okay, because I've got one deal going on.
Yeah.
But the problem is that because the developer has got their own team.
Yeah.
So they are saying only we will do it.
That's also, see, right now the market is such, everyone wants to control the transaction.
Yeah.
Like many developers are that hellbent, they don't give you an NOC if you don't apply the mortgage to them.
Yes.
So that's also not good. Everyone feels that mortgage is a big share. We all want to make money from it.
Yeah. So they said you have to come to us and you have to use our mortgage advisors, and you cannot follow up with them. You cannot, not pressurize, but if you are following up with them. And anyway, that's a
different conversation.
Different topic. So, because these days I'm getting calls because everyone wants to invest in Dubai.
Correct.
And people who are in Dubai, they are okay with that. They know the process. But there are people who are non-residents. There are two kind of non-residents. Okay.
Correct.
One are non-residents. They are living there outside.
Yeah.
But the second category is they used to live here, but now they have moved to, let's say, Saudi Arabia or Europe, some other places. But they are feeling that they need to have a property here.
Correct.
They are non-residents as well. So now they are asking questions because some people, sometimes they are in contact with some other people. They are saying you can get 55%, 60%, 65%, and the documentation requires are different, right?
Yeah.
So again, how much can they get the maximum?
Currently for non-resident, we can tell them a range between 60 to 65.
Okay.
It's a client call. It's a bank's call. Okay. Which, looking at the profile, do they want to do 60 or 65?
And then what are the documents required for a salaried person if they are a non-resident?
Same. The document would be his KYC documents, passport. If he has a national ID in that company, like Saudi has Iqama, for example, or some kind of a national ID, then we will need his 6 months bank statement where his salary is being credited. And an account where his savings are parked. Because what happens, many people have two different accounts. One is for their day-to-day expenses, one is where their savings are parked. So it's good to take both of them. Okay. Third would be a salary certificate from their employer confirming their details, designation, date of joining, nationality, passport number, and the fixed salary that they are drawing.
Okay, this is for the salaried person.
Salaried non-resident.
And if someone has got a business as a non-resident?
KYC documents, passport, national ID, company ownership document, company bank statement for 6 months, personal bank statement for 6 months, and a utility bill that is required for salaried and self-employed to show they are based in that country.
Okay.
So you have to prove that they are actually non-resident.
And in terms of the interest rate, is there a difference for the residents and for the non-residents?
Interest rates are different because the risk is high.
Okay.
You have no control or no visibility of the client's income. Okay. In a resident, if today I am taking a loan, I am salaried in Dubai, my salary is being at least observed by the bank that my company is paying me salary in this bank. In a non-resident, you have zero control or visibility. Today you give him a loan, tomorrow his company asks him or stops anything, there's zero control. So the risk is high. Plus the client is outside UAE. You can't control him by coming to UAE for any purpose. So that's the reason the documentation detailing is more, compliance, onboarding for a client takes time. So the bank has increased the interest rate, the risk is higher.
Okay, so if the documents are complete and the profile is good, it's a salaried person, how much time it will going to take for a non-resident?
I'll still feel at least 1 month.
At least 1 month?
Yeah. And if a client is that serious, then we tell him that, sir, by the time we are starting your pre-approval, you finalize the house. You are sure your profile is clean, you finalize the house. We will fast track the application by doing the valuation to save his time and his interest. Because, with humans, the main problem is also interest. Today in January, if you decide you want to buy a property, if it doesn't happen by Jan end, you are not interested. You will say, leave it in February. Because you are sitting outside in Europe somewhere, Canada, Australia, you're doing your core job. This is just an investment plan that you're doing. So if there is more to and fro, you lose interest.
Yeah. So from the losing interest, what are the interest rate these days?
Interest rates for a non-resident is a range, you can say 4.25 to you can go up to 6%. depending on the banks, because every bank is underwriting the client differently.
Okay.
So that's why the pricing range is different.
Okay. And okay. For the non-residents
This is for
Okay,
non-residents.
this is with-
4.25 to 6% is for a non-resident.
and for the residents?
Resident, the lowest interest rate is around 3.75 right now,
Okay.
fixed for 1 year, and it can go up to 4.5 as well.
4.5. And then again, to the next
For
question.
salaried, sorry.
For the salaried. For the non-sal,
Self-employed is starting at 4.1.
okay.
It could go to 5%.
Because people do not know the difference between the fixed interest rate
Yeah.
or should they commit for the 3 years or 5, because there are promotions going on for the 3 years, 5 years, or they should go for the variable one.
Okay, so now if you ask my personal opinion, fixed rate is better to start with, because
Okay.
in a fixed rate, you know what
can
is the
plan.
fixed outflow every month in your installment. So then you can plan your finances. In a variable rate, the fluctuation is 1 month EMI is 10, second month it can be 11, third month it can be 9.
Yes.
It can happen. Fluctuations in IBOR can impact your EMI 500 dirham up or down. So I prefer advising clients whom I am advising to take a fixed rate, so they know that today with X income, why is their monthly commitment, and then they can plan their finances if they want to do partial settlement. And whenever they reach the variable rate, they can renegotiate with the bank. We as mortgage brokers also get involved in handling the relationship at a later stage also.
Yeah, because sometimes when the interest rate gets lower
Yeah.
or the higher,
Yeah.
so you as an independent broker can talk to the bank on the behalf of the clients in negotiating, right?
Correct.
Okay. And what are the, let's say again, first time buyer or the experienced buyer,
Yeah.
what mistakes do you think they usually make?
People don't make that big blunders. Small mistakes is when they negotiate between pricing, so they shift between a lot of brokers, which I feel is not ethically correct. But that's human nature.
Yeah.
Today you're buying a house for 2 million. Someone offers a neighboring house for 1.975. You will spend 1 month with that guy, assuming you're getting 25,000 discount. But there's one broker who's already invested 1 month with you. So maybe you want to negotiate there. So it's all about ethics and human nature. Otherwise, you can keep on, screwing and getting a lower price in 6 months' time, because you're talking to that many brokers. You have kept that many brokers involved. Yeah, I'm a serious buyer. So
I mean, this is happening in your industry, in our
Every industry,
in
yeah.
every industry as well. But in terms of the, let's say in terms of the time or the documentation, because sometimes what happens is they are changing from one job to another job, their mortgage is in the process, so how it can affect?
no, that we always advise a client, because the bank will also not do a loan when you're switching jobs. You're switching jobs, you're switching businesses. One business is getting over, you're starting a new trade license. Bank's logic is when you're lending money, they need to see a recurring income for the client. So the scenario could be, I am working with an employer right now for a longer time,
Yeah.
3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever time, or I shift my job, I join the new job, get 2 salary credits where I know that I have a tuning with my employer, 2 salaries are credited, and then I approach a bank.
Okay.
That is the logical thought process, because then the bank is also sure you're onboarded by the employer, your visa is stamped, your Emirates ID is come, he's paid you 1 salary, second salary is come, then they are comfortable that, okay, let's do the loan for him.
Yeah, and one more thing people
Yeah.
do not understand or they do not aware
Yeah.
that if they have got existing loans, let's say personal loan,
Yeah.
or they have got credit cards
Yeah.
or the car loan, so how does that affect in the mortgage application?
Any monthly liability affects your debt burden calculation. So whenever
Yeah.
you take a mortgage, the bank calculates your debt burden, which is 50% of your monthly income.
Okay.
So any monthly commitment, auto loan, personal loan, will impact that.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other monthly commitment will not impact, a monthly rent check will not impact, because that comes as a living cost. Or school fees will not come, that comes under a living cost.
So I mean, how people can check about their credit scores?
AECB report is the best thing, and I will advise through you that everyone should check their report every 6 months.
Okay.
Because everyone is careless at times. A Diva bill, Etisalat bill can be slipped, Empower bill can be slipped. But that shows carelessness. And when you go to a bank to take a loan, bank correlates that and says that when you are careless in paying Etisalat on time, you are careless in paying due on time, There could be a situation tomorrow you're careless in paying us also on time.
True.
So it's just human behavior is reflected by your past experiences.
Actions,
So that's why the bank feels if the report is clean, he's getting income on time, he's paying people on time, which means he's worth lending more money.
As a responsible
If the
person.
report is showing delays, that shows he's impacted with his income, he has cash flow issues, or he has check return, then the bank feels where he's not able to manage his finances right now, let's not lend him money. We'll give him after 6 months, let his credit score improve, let him understand and repay existing creditors on time.
Yeah, that's a very important thing.
Yeah.
But are there any important other checks banks are doing these days, or these are the standard
These are the
checks?
basic checks.
Okay. So one more thing which is happening
Yeah.
these days,
Yeah.
which is very common now, is the financing for the off-plan properties.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, people are coming, they want to buy off-plan, but they are thinking if they want to buy an off-plan property,
Yeah.
they will still get 80% from the bank.
Correct.
Okay. But they do not know which projects are eligible or which developers are eligible. So if you can just explain in
So
detail.
currently off-plan financing is just started, you can say 5 to 6 months back
Okay.
by 3-4 major banks. Not
Okay.
all banks have started. You can say 5 banks have started, and those 5 banks are currently focusing on the major master developers or the bigger developers,
Like
which could be
Emaar,
Emaar,
Dubai
Nakil,
Holding,
Dubai Holding,
Damak.
Miras, Damak, and you could put MAF also, which has
Okay.
Tilal Al-Gaf,
Yeah.
because that's also a big community.
True.
So for any bank, onboarding a project or a house from that community is also a stable thing, because the community is large, huge, and
Yeah.
developer is big here as well.
Okay. So, but how much?
In off-plan financing, the current offering by the bank is they will finance 50%. 50% needs to be put by the client,
Okay.
and they do a current valuation of the property. Whichever of the two is lower, so the current valuation or your purchase price, whichever of two is lower, they finance on that.
And how much finance do you get initially?
50%.
50%, because this is a very big
Yeah.
misconception that they expect they will get 80%.
No, but when a handover comes, they can approach the bank and get a top up, maybe for home improvement, they want to do a renovation, or maybe they get a top up released and buy another property with that.
Okay.
Because assume a client has bought a 10 million house,
Yeah.
he took a 5 million loan. At handover, he goes to the bank and tells them that, boss, now my property is ready. You have got the title deed. Give me an equity release for the differential 3 million. As
Okay.
per policy, he can get 70% as per his profile, salaried and what. So that 3 million or 2 million, for example, 7 minus 5 is 2, sorry, my mistake. So that 2 million he can use to buy another property.
So you have mentioned equity release.
Yeah.
Still, for the some people, this term is new. It never
Yeah.
used to happen, or maybe it used to happen long time back. But
Yeah.
now, for last 2-3 years, it's happening a lot.
Correct.
And I've seen in the transactions as well.
Yeah.
Because let's say someone bought a property in Arabian Ranches, Kaya or Alisa, bought it
Yeah.
at 4.2 million. Now it's close to around 8 million dirhams.
Correct.
Okay, so now so many people have taken the, they have refinanced or equity release. So for someone who is new,
Yeah.
again, if you can tell them that how they can take advantage of this equity release.
Equity release has 3-4 names, so I'll name
Okay.
all of them. Either people call it equity release,
Yeah.
or people call it refinance,
Refinance.
or people call it cash out.
Cash out.
Cash out,
Okay.
which means or you can say loan against property.
Okay.
These 4 terminologies, indirectly they mean the same, which means you're telling the bank, you keep my property.
Yeah.
As per my income eligibility, give me a loan. Income eligibility and the LTV parameter.
Okay.
Give me cash withdrawn from the property, which can go either to do a renovation. I want to build a pool. I want to upgrade the house, or I can release that money to buy another off-plan or a ready property.
Okay. So how much do they can get from the, let's say the property was worth 4 million, now it's worth 8 million now. So how much can they get?
So on a 8 million property, assume the client is resident salaried,
Yeah.
he can get 70% loan to value. Assume 8 million is the property value.
Yeah.
His outstanding loan is only 1. So we give him the balance money of the LTV can be used to buy any other property.
Okay. And how does it work for the, because we know for the first time buyer,
Yeah.
you get 80%.
Yeah.
But if I'm buying a property let's say, second property or third
Yeah.
property? How does it work in that scenario?
So in that case, there are two scenarios. Either we directly get him 60% if his cash flow is good. He has money. We'll tell him that this is your second mortgage. We'll get you 60%. Irrelevant, property value is 5, property value is 3. 60% financing on the second mortgage. Or if he feels that his existing mortgage property price is appreciated, so then we can do a current valuation of that house, show to the bank that the existing mortgage loan to value is less than 60.
Okay.
Then the new one we can get him 80% also.
Okay. And for
Less than 5 million property value.
So yes, again, one more thing people do not know.
Yeah.
If the property is what below 5 million, you get
80%.
If it is above 5 million,
70%.
70%. I mean, is there any way you can get 80%?
No. I work as a mortgage broker, not as a magician so far. So there's a central bank guideline.
I mean, yes, because again, there's too much competition in your industry as well.
No, but that's what client has a wish list. So I also joke with them that
The
sir,
client has got one more wish list, that
Yeah.
getting 100%.
yeah, if that was that easy, no one in Dubai will stay in a rented property. Everyone, you, me, everyone, will have a house in Dubai, because if it's 100%, then anyone can walk to the bank and say, boss, this is my passport, visa, Emirates ID, give me a loan, I want to buy that house.
Because one more thing, because people do not understand,
Yeah.
that's in Dubai, it's a very healthy combination of mortgages, people buying on the mortgages and the cash.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's a good mix.
which is a good for the overall health for the economy as well.
Correct.
Because it has happened in the past as well, that everything was on the mortgage, huge leverages, and then
Yes.
something happened.
Correct. So a balance is good to manage any uncertainty or unforeseen situation.
So how do you see, will you be seeing any rates drop in the
See,
coming-
rates drop will happen in the next 6 months as well. It's been happening in last 6 months also.
Yeah.
But the IBOR has not drastically gone down. It will go down, I feel, next 6 to 12 months. That's my personal opinion. It will go down. But on an interest rate perspective, a 3.75 may become 3.5.
Okay.
Because at the end, we have to see that it has to be profitable for the bank also to lend that money. They have a cost of borrowing where they borrow money from central bank, and then they have to keep their margin or their spread which they earn. So that has to be realistic for them as well. What happened during COVID, the rates went down to 2.99,
Yeah.
2.75. I was with the bank that time, so people were very happy because 3% was looking very rosy and good. Now those clients are reaching a rate of 4.5. But I have seen with my experience on a mortgage loan, a good rate is anything between 3.5 to 4.5.
Okay.
That's a practical thing, that you have a house, this is the interest rate you pay, and you can survive with a good cost of living.
Yeah, because I've seen, especially after the COVID, when the rates were really down,
Yeah,
and then when the rates started increasing,
yeah,
things started changing, and some
Yeah.
people just sold their property just because of this same reason only.
correct.
And one more thing people asked is that let's say I took a mortgage from the bank
Okay,
and I want to pay off that mortgage after 2 years.
okay.
So what are the implications or the charges?
That's quite standard, 1% or AED 10,000, whichever is lower.
That's all.
That's all.
So no matter.
That's by central bank. They have kept it easier because they know they don't want to keep a roadblock for people to flip properties or buy multiple properties in their journey of buying houses. So someone buys a house today, a 1 bedroom, his family size is only a couple. In 2 years, his family grows. He wants to buy a 2 bedroom.
Okay.
So this exit penalty is very nominal because the bank wants to support people flipping properties, or they want to support that, keep it easy when you want to exit a loan.
Okay.
If they keep that penalty on a higher side, then it would stop people from taking loans also, because they'll be more worried that my exit cost is high.
Yeah, that's a very interesting.
Because the
point.
population is expat. At times you have people coming here for 3 years, staying here, and then going back to their home country. Or migrating to a better opportunity in some other country. So that stopgap, if my exit clause is high, they may not end up buying property. Then they will say we'll pay rent as well.
Yeah. And is there any age limit?
To start with, anyone above 21 is counted as an adult with an income can get a mortgage. The maturity age for a salaried is 65. Some banks can give 70 because of the golden visa rule, because you have a flexibility that you are on a golden visa, or the employer writes and says that, I allow Amit that his retirement age with us is 70 years.
Okay.
Or there is no retirement age, because they feel if the guy is good or a senior manager, he may work with us at 72 years of age also.
Okay.
So that's a employer's call and a individual call.
And is there any age limit for the non-residents as well?
Same. 65 for salaried, 70 for self-employed.
Okay. So Amit, I think I have got all the answers. I've asked almost.
You have covered most of the things.
Most questions. But for the viewers, I mean, if you have got any questions which we might have missed, or if you have got any questions, any confusion which you want me to check with Amit, so please go in the comment section, write all your questions. Do not worry about whether it's a very basic question or a stupid question. No question is a stupid question. And if you have an advanced question, or if you are an experienced, let's say, investor who is finding difficult to work with their existing mortgage advisor. So Amit, you know that now you have known him, that he has got more than 20 years of experience. He knows how things work in the bank. He knows how things are working as a mortgage advisor. So he has done almost all type of cases. So he is there. He's a very well-known person in Dubai's real estate market, and I'm also here. So you can write all of your questions. So Amit, if you have got any advice for the first-time buyers or the experienced people,
my suggestion would be that first they need to speak to a mortgage broker, understand their eligibility, how much is the down payment, what is their budget, when do they want to buy. Do that basically homework themselves or with a mortgage broker, get a pre-approval, and then go out for shopping. Because once you have the right tools with you, then you can get the right deal through the real estate agent and buy the house.
Perfect. That's a very valid and practical advice. So again, thank you, Amit, for coming.
Thank you, Umesh.
It was a very knowledgeable session for me as well, and I'm sure people must have most of their questions answered. So in case, again, any questions, just write it down, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.